The Nuremberg trial marked a pivotal moment in world history, taking place in the aftermath of World War II. Held in the city of Nuremberg, Germany, these proceedings brought leading Nazi officials to justice for crimes against humanity, war crimes, and genocide. The trials were unprecedented, as they established the principle that individuals, including heads of state, could be held accountable for their actions under international law. Set against the backdrop of a devastated Europe, the Nuremberg trial aimed to confront the atrocities committed during the war and set a legal precedent for future generations. Its significance extends beyond the courtroom, shaping the development of modern international law and the global pursuit of justice. The legacy of Nuremberg continues to influence how the world responds to crimes of such magnitude today. During World War II, the world witnessed a scale of atrocities previously unimaginable. The Nazi regime orchestrated systematic genocide, resulting in the deaths of millions of Jews, as well as other targeted groups such as Roma, disabled individuals, and political dissidents. Widespread war crimes included mass executions, forced labor, and the mistreatment of prisoners of war. Civilians across occupied territories suffered from brutal repression, starvation, and forced displacement. These grave violations of human rights and international law shocked the global community. In response, the Allied powers established the Nuremberg Tribunal to hold those responsible accountable and to set a precedent for prosecuting crimes against humanity. In the aftermath of World War II, the Allied powers faced the unprecedented challenge of bringing leading Nazi officials to justice. To address this, representatives from the United States, the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union, and France convened to establish the International Military Tribunal. This tribunal was tasked with prosecuting major war criminals for crimes against peace, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. After careful consideration, the city of Nuremberg in Germany was chosen as the site for the trials. Nuremberg held symbolic significance, having been a center for Nazi rallies and propaganda. Its courthouse and adjoining prison facilities also made it a practical location for such a historic undertaking. The formation of the tribunal and the selection of Nuremberg marked a pivotal moment in the pursuit of international justice. The main defendants at the trial included some of the most prominent figures in the Nazi regime. Hermann Göring, once Hitler's designated successor, played a central role in shaping military and economic policy. Rudolf Hess, known as the Deputy Führer, was instrumental in party organization and ideology. Joachim von Ribbentrop, the foreign minister, orchestrated key diplomatic maneuvers and alliances. Wilhelm Keitel, head of the armed forces, was responsible for executing many of the regime's military orders. These individuals, along with others, were charged with crimes ranging from planning aggressive war to orchestrating the Holocaust. Their positions within the Nazi hierarchy gave them significant authority and influence over the regime's actions. Prosecutors began by meticulously collecting a range of evidence to support their case. This process involved gathering official documents, such as financial records, emails, and contracts, which helped establish a timeline of events and clarify the roles of those involved. Investigators also conducted interviews with key witnesses, securing testimonies that provided first-hand accounts and insights into the alleged activities. These statements were cross-referenced with the physical evidence to ensure consistency and reliability. In addition, experts were consulted to analyze complex data and interpret technical details. By combining documentary evidence with credible witness accounts, prosecutors aimed to construct a comprehensive and convincing narrative for the court. The Nuremberg trials set important legal precedents that continue to shape international law today. One of the most significant was the formal recognition of crimes against humanity, which included acts like genocide, enslavement, and torture committed against civilian populations. The trials also rejected the defense that individuals were just following orders, establishing that personal responsibility cannot be avoided simply by claiming obedience to superiors. These principles underscored the idea that individuals, regardless of rank or position, could be held accountable for their actions under international law. The legacy of Nuremberg has influenced subsequent tribunals and the development of human rights law worldwide. During the trial, the prosecution presented a compelling case. emphasizing the weight of physical evidence and eyewitness testimony. They argued that the sequence of events clearly pointed to the defendant's guilt, meticulously reconstructing the timeline and highlighting inconsistencies in the defense's narrative. In response, the defense challenged the reliability of key witnesses and questioned the integrity of the forensic analysis. A pivotal moment occurred when the defense introduced new evidence that cast doubt on the prosecution's timeline, prompting intense cross-examination. Both sides delivered powerful closing statements, each urging the jury to carefully consider the facts and the credibility of the testimonies presented. These exchanges shaped the atmosphere in the courtroom, leaving a lasting impression on everyone present. The tribunal delivered its final judgments after months of testimony and deliberation. Several of the accused were found guilty of the most serious charges, resulting in sentences of death by hanging. Others received lengthy prison terms, reflecting the varying degrees of responsibility assigned by the court. A few individuals were acquitted, either due to insufficient evidence or lesser involvement in the crimes. These verdicts marked a significant moment in legal history, setting precedents for how international justice would be pursued in the future. The sentences were carried out with the intention of delivering accountability and deterring similar acts in the years to come. The outcomes of the trials sparked widespread reactions both within Germany and around the world. In Germany, many citizens saw the verdicts as a necessary reckoning with the nation's recent past, while others felt the sentences were either too harsh or too lenient. Internationally, the trials were closely followed, with many viewing them as a landmark moment for justice and accountability. Some countries praised the process as a model for future international law, while others criticized perceived inconsistencies in the judgments. The global attention underscored the significance of the trials in shaping post-war attitudes toward human rights and the rule of law. The Nuremberg trial marked a pivotal moment in the evolution of international law. By holding individuals accountable for war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide, it set a powerful precedent that leaders could no longer act with impunity. The principles established at Nuremberg laid the groundwork for subsequent international tribunals, such as those for the former Yugoslavia and Rwanda. These trials reinforced the idea that justice transcends national borders and that the international community has a responsibility to address grave violations of human rights. The legacy of Nuremberg continues to influence the International Criminal Court and the ongoing pursuit of global justice. The trials ignited intense ethical debates that continue to resonate today. Central to these discussions were questions about the true nature of justice and whether the proceedings served as a form of retribution or a genuine pursuit of accountability. Some argued that the trials provided a necessary reckoning for grievous crimes, while others questioned if they could ever fully address the suffering endured by victims. The challenge of balancing punishment with the possibility of reconciliation also emerged, raising concerns about healing divided societies. These debates highlight the complexities faced when seeking justice after large-scale atrocities, and they underscore the ongoing struggle to define what is fair and just in the aftermath of conflict. The Nuremberg trials marked a turning point in international law, establishing the principle that individuals, including state leaders, could be held accountable for crimes against humanity. This groundbreaking precedent influenced the drafting of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, which set forth fundamental rights and freedoms for all people. The lessons learned at Nuremberg also contributed to the development of the Geneva Conventions, strengthening protections for civilians and prisoners of war during armed conflicts. Together, these documents reflect a global commitment to justice, human dignity, and the prevention of future atrocities. The legacy of Nuremberg endures, serving as a foundation for modern human rights and humanitarian law. The Nuremberg trial stands as a pivotal moment in history, highlighting the importance of holding individuals accountable for their actions, regardless of their position or authority. It established the principle that no one is above the law, setting a precedent for prosecuting crimes against humanity. The trial underscored the necessity of the rule of law in maintaining justice and order within the international community. It also served as a stark warning about the dangers of unchecked power, demonstrating how the absence of oversight can lead to widespread atrocities. These lessons continue to influence legal systems and international relations, reminding us of the ongoing need for vigilance, transparency, and justice. The Nuremberg Principles, established in the aftermath of World War II, continue to shape the landscape of international law and justice today. These foundational guidelines assert that individuals, including heads of state, can be held accountable for crimes against humanity, war crimes, and genocide. Modern international courts, such as the International Criminal Court, draw directly from these principles when prosecuting cases involving grave human rights violations. The influence of Nuremberg is also evident in the way nations approach issues of sovereignty and intervention, often invoking these standards to justify or critique international actions. As global conflicts and humanitarian crises persist, the Nuremberg Principles serve as a moral and legal compass, reminding the world of the enduring importance of justice and accountability in international relations. The Nuremberg Trials stands as a pivotal moment in history, marking the first time that international law was used to hold individuals accountable for crimes against humanity. Its legacy endures, shaping the principles of justice and human rights that guide the world today. The trial demonstrated that no one, regardless of rank or position, is above the law. It established precedents for future international courts and inspired the global community to confront injustice wherever it occurs. By remembering the lessons of Nuremberg, future generations are reminded of the importance of upholding justice, promoting accountability, and safeguarding human dignity.